Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, my friend and my lecturers. Today I would like to present about the English teaching material development and evaluations. Our material focus today is about the selection and gradation in material developments. And then the second one is adapting and adapting materials. Where we go on to the first one, selecting and gradation material developments. We know that material are very important tools in the teaching learning process because material are important tools as they are the means to achieve the aim and objective of teaching programs. In selection and gradation in material development, we focus on two base. There are language center and learner center approach. It is a crucial element in material developments. We go on to the first one is language center syllabuses. In language center curriculum, in the first few decades of the 20th century, there were two aspects that received primary attention, and their selection laid the foundation for developing material. They were vocabulary and grammar. It is according to Rika 2001. We go on to vocabulary selections. Vocabulary selections, according to some experts, they are wide in 1988, highlight frequency, coverage, rank, availability, learnability, and teachability for the vocabulary selection. And then according to Richard in 2001, the criteria used in determining word lists include teachability, similarity, availability, coverage, and divining powers. According to Wilkin, refer to frequency, rank, availability, familiarity, and coverage. So from the three experts, we conclude that frequency is a major criteria used for vocabulary selection. And then for grammar selection, frequency, rank, and availability may not be used as a basic for structure selection. According to White in 1988, refer to concerning the selection of grammar, refer to teachability and learnability that motivate the selection of sentence pattern. So based on the learnability criteria, simple grammatical structure are easy to learn than the more complex ones. So in the material development, we use the simple grammatical structure to teaching. Okay, now we continue to selection and gradation in language center syllabus. Selection of the language material to be taught is the first requisite of good teachings. Okay, selection of language items should involve 6 elements. They are frequency, rank, coverage, availability, learnability, and teachability. Frequency in here, it means that how often a certain item or word is used. And then for rank, it means in what different context a word or an item can be used. For the coverage, it's mean how many different meaning or a word or an item can convey. And then for availability, it is how far an item is convenient to teach. For the learnability, it is how far an item is easy to learn. And then the last one for teachability, it means how far an item is easy to teach in the social context. For gradation of the language material means placing the language item in an order. Grading involves grouping and sequence. Grouping concern in the two items, there are the system of language and its structures. Grouping the system of language mean what sound, word phrase, and meaning are to be taught. We divided it into 6 items in here: phonetic grouping, lexical grouping, grammatical grouping, semantic grouping, and structure grouping. Phonetic grouping, it is grouping according to the sound. So, for example, what happening, the same sound are placed in the one group as like a cat, bat, mat, pat, or beat, fit, hit, kid. It is the same sounds. And then the second one, lexical grouping. For example, grouping according to lexical situation. For example, school, teacher, headmaster, library, all these words are grouped around schools. And then for the third one is grammatical grouping. It is grouping according to similar pattern. For example, my book, his book, her books, in the room, in the corner, in the school, in the class, etc. And then fourth, it is semantic grouping. For example, grouping according to meaning. Example, school, college, university is the same meaning. It is the same meaning. And then for the other example, bicycle, car, train, aeroplane, it is the semantic grouping. It is the name of transportation tools. And then structure grouping. This grouping in the structure means how the selected item fit one into the other, the sound into the word into press, the press into the clause, and then sentences into the context. So it is the structure grouping. Okay, next, sequence. Sequence means what comes after what. Sequence should be there in the arrangement of sound, phonetic sequence, phrases in grammatical sequence, word in lexical sequence, and in meaning in semantic sequence. Sequence of structure implies direction, expansion, variation, length, and length of the structure. Okay, we go on to the second one. It is learner-centered syllabus. According to NUNA in 1997, held that learner-centered syllabus focus on the collaboration between the teacher and the learner, which in turn gets students involved in making the decision on the context selection and the grammar. So to make a selection and gradation in material development in learner-centered syllabus, we need to collaboration between the teacher and the learner. Okay, this is the grading and sequencing in the learner-centered syllabus. According to Brinley in 1984, point to the interaction of the three factors of learner, task, text in determining test difficulty. Okay, we go on. We look at one by one. The first one is learner factor, including confidence, motivation, prior learning experience, learning pace, observability in language skill, cultural knowledge or awareness, and linguistic knowledge. And then the second one, task factors. This namely relevance, complexity, amount of context provided prior to task, process ability of language of the task, amount of help available to the learner, degree of grammatical accuracy or contextual accuracy, and time available. And then the third one is text factors, including size and density of the text, presentational format of the text, contextual clues, and context of the text. Okay, we go on to our second material, this adapting and adapting materials. We know that the material is important, very important, but not all teachers can adapt the material. Some of them adopt the material also. So we focus to adapt first. The teacher will need to adapt materials. The reason why every teacher will need to adapt the materials is made evident in the model of language curriculum designed so in figure 1 according to Nation and McAllister in 2010. Okay, we look at the pictures. This model is composed of 3 outer circles. Their principle, needs, and environment. And a subdivided inner circle, it is content and sequencing, format and presentation, and monitoring and assessing. Okay, all of which are enclosed within the larger circle, representing evaluation. The subdivided inner circle represents the syllabus, while the 3 outer circles represent the 3 factors that influence the syllabus. At the very center of the subdivided inner circle are the goals of the curriculum. So the function of evaluation in here is, in the biggest circle, is to inspect and control the overall quality of the curriculum from every other aspect. The purpose of analyzing the environment is to understand the situational factors that strongly affect the curriculum. Need analysis concern learner necessity and what do the learner wants to learn. So to achieve the goal in here, the teacher needs to adapt the materials. Okay, what to adapt from the picture, what to adapt? The teacher can be changed each segment of the inner circle, their content and sequencing, format and presentation, monitoring and assessing to support and lead to the achievement of the course goal. So we can change the inner circle of this teacher, content and sequencing, format and presentation, monitoring and assessing. We can change it to support and lead to the achievement of the course goals. Okay, now adapting materials. Adapting the material, the teacher can adopt some material to teach, maybe from course book or other book that's published. For the example of the condition are, so some condition can make we adopt the material from other resources. First one is the teacher had little or no experience of teaching English. And then second one, because of low salaries, the teacher had multiple teaching positions around the city. The learner had limited English proficiency. And then the learner would have to buy the course book. And then the last one is the teaching year was about to begin. So because of this condition, we can adopt the material from course book or others. So we can conclude that material are an important part in the teaching learning process. There are two ways the teacher get the material. They are adapting and adapting the material. It is better for the teacher to adapting the material than adapting. But in some conditions, the teacher can adopt the material from the published course books. All of the process have the same goal. Those are to support and lead to achievement of the course goal. Okay, I think that's enough for my presentation. Thank you for your attention, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.